For almost 2 years I fell asleep every single night whispering the same prayer. God, please let me out. Let the divorce be quick. Take the pain away. I can't do this anymore. I begged him to sign the papers himself because I was too weak to do it. I wanted my husband gone. I wanted a new life. I wanted to stop hurting. And then God did something so wild, so completely opposite to what I was asking. He ignored every prayer for divorce and gave me the exact husband I had cried for on my wedding day, the one I thought I married but somehow lost along the way. My name is Brooke. Tyler and I got married at 24 after dating for 3 years. He was funny, tall, played guitar, opened every door, prayed over every meal, and told me at least twice a day that I was beautiful. Our wedding was small, outdoors, wildflowers everywhere, and when we said our vows we both cried. We meant every word. The first 5 years were magic. We traveled, served in church, bought our first little house, had our son Noah, then our daughter Ellie 2 years later. Life felt full. Then it started unraveling, thread by thread. Tyler got promoted, which meant longer hours and more travel. I stayed home with 2 babies and postpartum anxiety that I smiled through. We stopped talking about dreams and started arguing about whose turn it was to change the last diaper. He began snapping at me over tiny things. I began nagging him about everything. Resentment grew like mold in the corners of our home. We slept back to back. We barely spoke unless it was about schedules or money. The real destruction came when I discovered the emotional affair. It wasn't physical, at least not that I ever found proof of, but it might as well have been. Her name was Megan from his office. Hundreds of texts, inside jokes, compliments he hadn't given me in years. You really get me. Talking to you is the best part of my day. I found them one night while he was in the shower. I sat on the bathroom floor reading until my eyes burned, then handed him the phone when he walked out and said, "Explain this." He didn't even try to lie. He just said, "I'm not happy, Brooke. I haven't been in a long time." That night he slept on the couch. The next week he barely came home. The week after that he told me he wanted a separation. He moved into the spare bedroom, then into a friend's basement, then into his own apartment 30 minutes away. We filed for divorce 8 months later. I was the one who initiated it. I walked into the lawyer's office shaking but determined. I told myself I deserved better. I told my friends I was finally choosing peace. For the next 14 months I prayed every night for the divorce to be final. I wanted the judge to sign. I wanted to sell the house. I wanted to wake up without this knot in my stomach. I dated one guy for 3 months just to prove I could. I downloaded the apps. I updated my wardrobe. On the outside I looked strong. On the inside I was dying. The turning point came on a random Tuesday in March. I had just put the kids to bed and opened my prayer journal to write the same plea I'd written for over a year. Lord, let this divorce happen quickly. But for the first time, my hand wouldn't move. Instead, tears started falling and I heard myself whisper something different. God, do you hate divorce as much as you say you do? Because if you do, then fight for us. I'm too tired. Fight for Tyler. Fight for me. I don't know how to want him anymore. But you do. I closed the journal and didn't pray for divorce that night. I didn't know it then, but that was the night everything changed. I started waking up at 1 a.m. and praying over Tyler's empty side of the bed. Not pretty prayers. Raw, honest, sometimes angry prayers. I laid my hand on his pillow and said things like, God, make him miserable without us. Wake him up at night thinking about his family. Let every fake smile with her feel like sand in his mouth. Draw him back to you first, then to us. I wish I could say I felt holy doing it. Most mornings I felt insane. I did other things that made no sense to anyone around me. I stopped speaking negatively about him in front of the kids. I started thanking him when he paid child support on time. I texted him happy birthday with an old photo of us laughing. I fasted 1 day a week. I played worship music loud in the house even when I didn't feel it. I zipped my lips when I wanted to remind him what a jerk he'd been. 4 months later, Tyler started showing up early to pick up the kids. Then he started staying after drop-off to fix the leaky faucet I'd mentioned. Then he asked if we could take the kids to the park as a family one Saturday. I said yes before my pride could say no. One Sunday night he texted, "Can I come over? I need to talk. I thought he was going to discuss selling the house. He showed up with red eyes and a shaking voice. He sat on our couch, the same couch where he told me he wasn't happy, and started crying. He said he had ended things with Megan months ago but didn't know how to come home. He said living without us was the emptiest he'd ever felt. He said he woke up every morning regretting walking out. Then he looked at me and said, "I miss my wife. I miss my family. I miss us. Can we cancel the divorce? Please?" I didn't make him grovel. I just opened my arms and we cried until the kids woke up and climbed into our laps like nothing had ever happened. We dismissed the divorce the next week. We started counseling. Real, deep, painful counseling. We learned how to fight fair, how to speak love languages, how to protect our marriage like it was the most precious thing we owned, because it is. Tyler became the husband I always wanted but didn't know how to ask for. He leaves me notes in the morning. He plans date nights. He prays over me when I'm anxious. He leads our family with a tenderness that makes me cry happy tears. 2 years after I begged God every night for divorce, we renewed our vows in the backyard with fairy lights and our kids holding "Welcome Home Daddy" signs. I wore the same veil from our first wedding. He cried through the whole thing. If you're watching this while praying the same desperate prayer I prayed, "God, just let me out. I need you to hear me." Stop. Stop asking for divorce tonight. Start asking God to fight for the men you married. Ask Him to give you the husband you always wanted, because He's the only one who can. He doesn't need Tyler 2.0 from down the street. He needs your Tyler, redeemed, restored, and running home. Your marriage isn't dead. It's in the tomb, and Jesus is calling his name. One day very soon you're going to wake up next to the husband you always wanted, in the exact marriage you begged God to let you escape. And you're going to laugh at how faithful God was even when you prayed the wrong prayer. I'm living proof. Drop your name in the comments. I'm praying every night not for divorce, but for your husband to become everything God created him to be, and for you to become everything he needs. He's coming home changed. Just wait.